There's a classic comedy bit by the late great comedian George Carlin called "A Place for My Stuff." And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about a place for your stuff and what's in my port day bag on a cruise. Hey, what's up everybody? Tony with Lido, Loca. Welcome to the YouTube channel. If you're new here, consider subscribing. We talk about all things cruising, cruise ships, cruise news, cruise tips, and when we go cruising, we do cruise vlogs. So make sure you subscribe with the notification bell on. That way you get all of our content. You've dropped in on a pretty special series that we have going on right now. We're doing a cruise count up to our next cruise on the Carnival Breeze. This is day 14. We have 17 days left until we cruise. We're providing a cruise tip a day, and we're inviting you to join in on the subject of the day. We're gonna highlight one of those comments each day by pinning it to the top of the comment section in the video. And at the end of 31 days, we're gonna draw one of those pinned comments out and give them a prize pack from our cruise. So the topic of the day, the tip of the day is, what do you put in your port bag when you go to port? Now, every port is not made the same. You have some ports that are good for doing beach and swimming stuff. You have some ports that are great for just exploring. So I'm just gonna share with you a general port bag that I would take off. And let me tell you what, I had an eye-opening experience when we traveled on the MSC side with our friend Don Terrace from Don's Family Vacation. When we went to Puerto Rico, Don didn't have a port bag. He just took his camera, he took his stabilizer, and just anything that he could fit in his pockets. And it was super minimal and it was super lightweight. And I kind of appreciated that minimalistic approach to port. We knew that we were just walking around at port and we didn't really have a lot to prepare for. So it really made me think, I normally just throw the same stuff in my port bag and go. I guess different situations call for different port bags. And it seems obvious, but it was an eye-opening experience with Don, so I'm still thinking about that. It was a great time with Don in San Juan, and if you haven't seen that vlog, I will leave a link above and in the description below. But let's get on to my port bag. And this is going to be one of those videos where I show you a lot of stuff that I've picked up along the way. I will leave a link in the description to all of these things. Most of them I got from Amazon, and so if you use the Amazon link, you are helping the channel out. Their affiliate links. Just wanted to give you that up front. But let's start with the bag. So we have about 4 of these Venture Pal collapsible backpacks. We like them because we can keep them like this until we need them. We carry them in our suitcase, and then when it's time for port day, these unzip, become a full backpack. The thing that I like about them, they're sturdy, they carry a lot of weight, and then they also have this little chest strap that goes in front of your chest so that it helps secure the bag. One note about port safety, carrying a big red backpack around could invite some trouble, and so I don't usually put anything that's super expensive in this bag that I'm not okay losing. So just keep that in mind when you're wearing a backpack at a port. You are kind of alerting folks that you are a tourist, so just keep safety in mind. I've never had any trouble, right? I've been to a bunch of different places, but just wanted to mention that. So this is the bag. You can keep it stored up, and then when you're ready to use it, you can make it into a backpack. Let me build on that. It really speaks to how important it is to research the ports before you go on your cruise. Are you going to be somewhere that may have lockers? Are you going to be somewhere where you're not going to be able to be with your stuff all the time? Are you going to be able to keep your stuff with you at all times? That's going to guide you a little bit what to take with you from a valuables perspective, or what to take with you from a security perspective on how to secure it. Most of the time I assume that I'm going to have my bag with me, that somebody's going to be able to watch my bag, or that I'm going to be able to use a locker. Now I also have this travel safe. If I know that I'm not going to keep my bag secure with me, if I know I'm not going to have a locker, as you put your valuables, it's not super big, right? So you're going to put your money, your cell phone, your identification, the high ticket stuff that you don't want to lose. Before you get this safe, make sure you know what you want to put in it. Obviously you're not going to fit your whole backpack in here. This has a steel cable that is a security cable, almost like a bike cable that cannot be cut. And then this is what the inside of the safe looks like. You secure your belongings, you wrap it around something that hopefully will not be picked up and carried away. And a tree, most people aren't going to cut down a tree to get your stuff, but you want to make sure that you've secured this around something that's not going to be carried away, and then you can lock it in there and then go on your merry way. Yeah, I've heard people say they just leave their stuff when they're at the beach. They just leave their stuff at the chair and haven't had any bad experiences. I think that's true for the most part, but I'm a little bit of a worrywart. So we picked up this safe. It works pretty good. So let's assume that it is a beach day. I'll show you some things that if I know that I'm going to go swimming, that I know I'm going to go to the beach, something that I take. Of course, I take sunscreen, and if I am smart, I use it. Sunscreen is important. I don't usually wear my swimming trunks. I like to change because I like to have on dry clothes at the end. So I have my swimming trunks. I have a towel. And, you know, we bring a towel from home. We don't like to take the cruise ship towels off. That's probably overly cautious. But most cruise lines, if you lose their towel, they charge you money. I don't like that whole racket. So I just bring my own towel. And then if I lose it, it's not a big deal. If somebody steals my bag, it's cool. This is going to go for beyond the beach day, but I always make sure that I have this hat. I really like this hat now. It's a good sun protection. It's UV protection on the top. And then of course it's got a big wide brim that protects me from the sun. I'll even wear this in the water just so I don't get burnt. And I also have my rash guard, my swim shirt. So for the beach, I'm bringing my swimming trunks, my swim shirt, a towel, a hat, and sunscreen. And again, I put all of that in my bag, and not too, I mean, obviously I don't want to get it stolen, but those are things that are easily replaced for not a lot of money if somebody swipes my bag. So a couple catch-all items that I put in my bag just in case, whether we're at the beach or whether we're walking around. I have this ultra small travel umbrella. I know it's bad luck to open it inside, but I'll show you. It's just this tiny. My hand is this big, right? And so this opens up into a full umbrella, and it will somewhat cover two people. So if you want to pop out the umbrella, you can do that. And sometimes if we don't want to pop out the umbrella, we have these ponchos that we got for $1 at the dollar store. We just put a couple of those in the bag, and that way if the rain gets you, you can just throw a poncho on. It's not the coolest look, but still it keeps you dry. And then if we're just walking around and we're worried about kind of the, look at this off, man, it's got some use out of it. But insect repellent, we always put that in our bag also. All right, so we've talked about the bag, we've talked about the safe, we've talked about what we take on the beach. The only thing left, and you know this has to be in my bag, are electronics. So I gotta have a camera with me everywhere I go. I tell you what, when I'm going to the beach or something like that, I don't really like to take my cell phone. I usually use my cell phone to take pictures, but I don't want to lose my cell phone. I don't want my cell phone to be stolen. Unless I know I'm going to get some internet or my phone plan's included, I'm going to do some social media, I don't even get my phone. I just make sure I take a couple cameras, and then that way when I get back on the ship, I can use it. And I'm all about the small camera. I can walk around with a huge camera with a microphone and all kinds of stuff, and it's a really big rig. I don't really like to do that at port. Try not to draw too much attention to myself when I'm out and about. So I really have a couple cameras that I prefer. The first one, if I'm gonna get wet, this is the GoPro Hero 7. This is waterproof on its own, which is very good. I don't necessarily vlog with this camera, but I can, and I just know that the audio has limitations, and so when I do vlog with this, I try to find a quiet place, make sure that nothing's rattling or clicking around, and then I will vlog with this. It comes in this enclosure, and it has a spot for tripod. So I use this little Joby Gorilla Pod, and I can use the GoPro for vlogging. I will also use this floaty connection. You take off the bottom part and they go together. And so I will use this in the water. And sometimes I use this cage underwater, which is kind of cool because you can carry it around like this, and you can do some dramatic pans. So I use this cage, I use the floaty, I use a tripod. And if I'm out at port and I don't think I'm going to get wet and I don't need to lock my stuff up, I will take the small point and shoot, the Canon G7X Mark II. This is what we've been using primarily for vlogging. I like it for the most part. You know, I've got the windsock on top. The only thing is it picks up a lot of ambient noise, and so I don't know that I love it as much as when I'm using the M50 with an external microphone, but this is great for low light, and it fits in your pocket, and this case, you can strap it onto you, and so this is kind of my small camera footprint when I go to port. And then I mentioned this in another video, I take this solar powered backup battery so that I can charge all my gear if I'm gonna be out longer than the battery life. I take extra batteries and all that, but if I need to charge them up, but I can do it with this solar powered battery pack. So I think that's all that I put in my bag. That seems like a lot of stuff. It never feels truly heavy. The question for the comments is this: how does that compare to your port bag? What are some essentials that you use that I don't use? And was there anything there that maybe is a revelation for you? Leave your port bag tip in the comments below, and let's continue this conversation. Thanks for stopping by. Hope that info was helpful. Make sure you check out all of our social media. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe if you have not. Again, this is Tony with Lido Loca, and until next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.